Hi, everybody. Can you hear me okay? All righty. Well, let's get started. Okay, let's do the mandala. So make the mudra for the mandala, please. Here is the great earth filled with the smell of incense and covered with a blanket of flowers. The great mountain, the four continents, wearing a jewel of the sun and the moon. In my mind, I make them the paradise of a Buddha and offer it all to you. By this deed, may every living being experience the pure world. Idam Guru Ratna Mandalakam Niryatayame. I go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I achieve enlightenment. By the power of the goodness that I do in giving and the rest, may I reach Buddhahood for the sake of every living being. I go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I achieve enlightenment. By the power of the goodness that I do in giving and the rest, may I reach Buddhahood for the sake of every living being. I go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I achieve enlightenment. By the power of the goodness that I do in giving and the rest, I will reach Buddhahood for the sake of every living being. Okay. So, I don't recall whether I gave you the assignment. I think I did. I gave you the assignment of coming up with 10 things you were grateful for. Right? I gave you that list. Or am I confusing this with another class?
Yeah, it was in Lamrim.
Oh. So I haven't done this I'm grateful list with you
No,
guys yet?
the assignment,
Oh.
no.
Oh, well,
But
see,
I
that's
think
the
that you
trouble.
have already tell us.
Okay. Well, so I just want to be clear. I haven't gone over the grateful list with you, with this class. Okay. That's the trouble with being 70 years old. You can't keep things straight. Anyway, so one of my students in South Africa is a mother, and she came across on one of the sites that she visits a list of 10 things a parent would be grateful for, and I liked it. So I'm going to read them to you, and what I'd like you to do for next class is come up with 10 similar reasons yourself. So here we go. So I am great as a parent. I am grateful for one, early wake ups, which equals children to love, a house to clean, which represents a safe place to live, laundry to do, which equals clothes to wear, dirty dishes, being grateful for food to eat, crumbs under the table would be the same as family meals, grocery shopping to do, money to be able to purchase food for the family, toilets to clean, grateful for indoor plumbing, lots of noise, kids having fun, endless questions, a child who is learning, getting into bed tired and sore, grateful to be alive. I thought that was a pretty interesting list. So I don't have children to love, but I have my students, so I love them. House to clean. I used to be in charge of vacuuming. I'm not in charge of much now anymore, cleaning up the house, but safe place to live. Laundry to do, obviously, you have clothes to wear. Dirty dishes, that's a nice representation for having food to eat. Crumbs under the table. My wife is constantly after me for the crumbs that are under my chair versus her chair. I'm not sure how that works. I don't think I'm a careless eater, but apparently I am. Grocery shopping to do. You have money. Um, boy, the cost of groceries has changed over the years. I'm not sure how people on fixed income in this country or any country to handle that. Toilets to clean, indoor plumbing. Having spent 3 years, 3 months, and 3 days in a retreat that didn't have indoor plumbing, I can tell you well, we had water, but we didn't have bathroom facilities. We had to go and use a composting toilet, which was okay, but when it's 10 degrees outside, that makes for pretty cold going to the bathroom. Lots of noise, kids having fun. I don't have children, but I think I enjoy the sound of children having fun. Endless questions. When we were in Europe for a year, when I was 8 years old, we lived in Britain for a year, and we'd go touring the continent and during the school holidays. And at 8 years old, I was asking my dad all the time questions. So one day we were driving in Europe somewhere, and I asked another question, and he looked at me and he said, "David, ask me every 10th question." So I started counting the questions, and I'd come up with a 10th one, and I'd ask him, and he'd just roll his eyes. I think he thought that he should have said every 20 questions. But endless questions, a child who is learning. Getting into bed tired and sore, you're still alive. So that's your assignment. You need to come up with 10 things you're grateful for. It doesn't have to be like this is like if we're being a parent, but come up with 10 things you're grateful for. And we'll go over those next class. But we still have rejoicing to do. So up in the upper left-hand corner of my screen is Katerina. So Katerina, what do you have to rejoice?
Hello, Svetlana. Can you help me? Честно скажу, мне было сложновато радоваться последнее время.
It was difficult for me to be joyous last time, but following this logic, I rejoice that my cat is healthy, and now he's healthy. I rejoice that everything calm is around and nothing bad is happening, and my relatives are alive, and it means that we can do something else. And today we gathered today here, and it is another way to be to rejoice about it.
Okay. Yeah, I think being great, I don't really think all that often about being grateful. So I think that's an interesting new way of looking at things. Okay, who's next? Let's go with Anna.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine.
Oh, perfect. Thank you for opportunity to rejoice. I rejoice. I start to remember about a pen when something happens in my life. I start to remember that, it's just my seats are opening right now, 50, 65 per a second. And that's big progress for me. And I rejoice about it very much. Thank you.
Good, good. Well, my wife and I were talking about this recently, yet again, and all the things that are happening in the world now, it's kind of it's a burden in some ways, because I'm responsible, my seed's ripening for having done terrible things to other people, for that terrible incident in the concert in Russia. It's my fault. For me to see that is my fault. And it's hard to understand that. It's hard to accept it. We think it's somebody else's fault. But the how and the why are coming from me. And so that means I have tremendous number of seeds yet to ripen. And then not be angry or mad or blame someone else. So I'm very sad that I had the seeds for that, but I'm hoping I've burned them off by not saying, oh, those people deserved it or whatever. It's a humbling thing to know that. The war in Ukraine, the war in Yemen, the Houthi rebels launching missiles on the Red Sea, the ships in the Red Sea. We could get depressed over it and upset, or we can say, okay, it's my karma ripening, it's from my past misdeeds, I need to do something about it. And the thing to do about it is to not get angry at anybody, not rejoice in anybody's ill fortune. It sounds simplistic, and perhaps to many people it is. But the bottom line remains, it's my karma ripening. So I look at it as, because it's my karma ripening, because I understand seeds, I can do something about it. I must do something about it. And I am, by trying not to be mad at, I still get mad at myself. I was mad at myself this morning. And that's really a struggle for me, is getting mad at myself. It's still movement of the mind. So, okay, let's go with Katya. What do you have to rejoice about?
Hi, hello. Well, my rejoice is that I have some purification of my bad seeds from hurting others, because a bee stung me and my foot got really big and I had to rest all the weekend. And so I spend the time doing my homeworks and studying Dharma.
Well, that's a good use of your time. You can watch a movie occasionally if you want.
Yeah, not just Dharma, right?
Not just Dharma. It doesn't have to always be Dharma. Did you say you hurt your foot?
Yeah, a bee stung me.
The bee stung you.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a funny story about a bee and through your retreat. There was a bee, and like I used to catch, I can catch flies. Well, I used to be able to catch flies in midair and not kill them. I could catch them and put them out during 3-year retreat. I got pretty good at it. So because I'm not the smartest, brightest bulb in the chandelier, there was a bee buzzing in the screened-in porch in our cabin during 3-year retreat. So I caught it, and of course it stung me. That was one of the dumbest things I did in 3-year retreat. But I caught it and I looked at my wife and said, I think that was a mistake. And sure enough, it stung me. So anyway, that's my bee story. Okay. Svetlana, what do you have to rejoice in?
Oh, I would like to rejoice that this day, like, I safely went to the office and walked with people around and safely returned home, and such small things which could be irritation earlier, that you don't want to meet lots of people, but when you meet them and feel them around in such daily commute, and you are feeling gratitude for another day, to have an opportunity to do something useful for other people. So I would like to rejoice that this day was safe, calm, and with many people around.
We take so much for granted in this world that I think that's a very astute observation, Svetlana. The very little things, like I don't go to a major store or grocery store and think I could be shot by somebody. Although in this country, that's getting more and more prevalent. Somebody, a disgruntled employee. I am more aware of my surroundings, but I don't let it depress me because I know it's up to me. So, Layla, what do you have to rejoice in today?
This weekend I was away. I went out of town and I was able to see a lot of older friends. When I say older friends, I think they're like 70s, late 70s. And I yes, I felt so much love. It was such a generous weekend. They cooked us a big meal Friday night, so we came in already um, um, feeling like just loved and taken care of, and it was a very it was a beautiful time of exchange where I made some guacamole for everyone and we were cooking for each other and we went out shopping for some fun things and yeah, it was one of those weekends of, I guess, ripening seeds and trying to absorb the most we can of each other as we have each other while they're there, while we are there, and creating memories together. There was a lot more patience, a lot less, not much annoyance, or just happy to be there. And so I'm rejoicing for a beautiful weekend. Yeah.
And that sets, by rejoicing in that, you're setting the seeds, you're planting the seeds because you knew where it came from, your past, helping others and have fun and enjoy each other's company. By not arguing or doing things like that, you're setting the seeds to have that in the future. So that sounds like it was very powerful. Guacamole. I've got a guacamole story for you. I used to work in the kitchen during the retreat, during the teachings in the Lam Rim. And the Chinese people really like guacamole for some reason. We made a bowl, and the bowl was, and I'm not kidding you, the bowl was this, about 2 feet across. We made 2 feet, well, 1.5 feet across. We filled that with guacamole. We put it all out, and within about 5 minutes, literally 5 minutes, it was gone. They don't use it on chips. They just get a dish and fill it full and eat it like salad.
Love guacamole. And my recipe is pretty complex. I use green onions and some green peppers as well for a little spice. Yeah. I think it went away very quickly. And
I have an avocado story. My dad worked with avocados. He worked on the synthesis of fatty acids, a component of guacamole, of avocado. That was his enzyme source. He is a reasonably well-known plant biochemist. I was a plant biochemist, but not reasonably well-known. Anyway, so I grew up with having half an avocado with vinegar and oil as a salad on my plate most days. And when I got to college, it was a big deal to go into the avocado orchards at University of California, Riverside, which were off limits to the students. It was a big deal to go and swipe avocados. And I couldn't understand why everybody is so enamored of avocados, because didn't everybody have them as salad when they were growing up? But my best avocado story is my wife was working about 30 miles away from the house, and I was eating a lunch when she was gone one day, and I had some soup that had turned bad. I didn't realize it. and I had an avocado sandwich. And about 3 minutes after finishing the sandwich, having had the soup that had gone bad, I threw it all back up. I couldn't eat avocados for years after that because I associated avocados with getting food poisoning. But I'm interested to try your guacamole someday, Layla. We'll have to figure
I
out
would
some.
love to make some.
Get them. Okay, Daria, what do you have to rejoice about?
Good morning, Venerable Sumati. Today it's very difficult, but I rejoice that I can serve to you because I don't know what happened tomorrow with our situation, and I rejoice I make the Tonglen to those who have served, to those who have attacked these people. I do Tonglen because they don't know what they happened, but what happened to with a future. They don't know. It's our wisdom. No, not our wisdom, Buddha wisdom, and it's very very ill for my heart. and I rejoice today. I feeding with some else baby birds, and I share to him food, and they and he was very happy. He smiled.
Good, good. Well, I'm proud of you, Daria, for bringing up not only the people that were injured or killed in the terrible accident, but Tonglen for the suspects. The karma they're reaping for having done that is immeasurable pain in the future, and hopefully one day they'll learn the idea of seeds and what goes around comes around. But that's we have to think of both sides of the equation in this, and that's very hard to do. But thank you for bringing that up. Okay, Yevgeny, how about you? What do you have to rejoice in?
Доброе утро.
Good morning. I would like to rejoice that I was able, without any challenges, come to this class, listen to it, and spread it around. And fortunately, my obstacles stopped.
Oh, good to hear. Thank you for recording and spreading the Dharma for us. Mike, you're up next.
Hey, good morning. Sorry for missing last Thursday. I don't have too much to rejoice about. I've been kind of having I guess I can rejoice for just the sheer volume of purification that I seem to be having. And I'm very excited to go to retreat. Hopefully this is clearing away some obstacles to retreat, which I guess I can rejoice about. But just kind of, man, like, can I get a break? Like, it's just, it's been really, I don't know. So, yeah, I guess just, you know what I will say? I can rejoice that, 2 years ago, if the same things were happening to me, I would have turned to alcohol and drugs to shut my mind up and to make my brain stop talking. And I don't have to do that now.
Very good.
So, yeah.
When are you where are you going for retreat?
Diamond Mountain.
You're going to come to the teaching, on-rim teachings?
I'm coming.
Oh man, that's wonderful news.
Yeah. Oh, and I wanted to thank you for hooking me up with Suna. It's been really great.
Yeah, I'll be there. We'll be down there on the 19th of the Friday for the fire puja, and then I'll be down there on the 20th as well. So, well, I'm very excited. Get a chance to meet you. That's going to be wonderful.
Awesome. That's great. Yeah, I'll be there from the 9th to the 21st. I'm coming in a little bit. a little bit early to get some social media stuff done for them, and then
Oh, good. And
help out. Yeah.
Katya, you're going to be there. Wow. We'll have a little mini reunion. Oh, that's very exciting. Maybe, Katya, maybe you can get Layla to give you some guacamole. And I'm kidding. Bringing that into the country would be not worth the hassle. But so what do I have to rejoice in? Well, my wife is, how can I describe this? We have this this night sky thing where you take pieces of rolls of paper that have the stars cut out as circles, and it looks like the night sky. And you tape that to the ceiling and you paint over the holes with luminescent paint, and then you let that dry. And then at night, in theory, you turn the lights off and you have a ceiling that's got stars on it. Well, we did that with my student Carlos last night. We did that when my wife was away as a surprise. And when he unrolled it, the date on the paper, the first time I put that up for her was in 1986. 1986. So we put it up, we painted it, we got it down. She was pleasantly surprised. We turned the lights off at night. Nothing glowing. So we were kind of bummed, and we shined some flashlights on it, and then usually that makes a difference. But these flashlights we have now, they're all LED flashlights, and they don't have the right light spectrum to activate the luminescent paint. So we need to find a real light bulb and try it. But the funny thing was, we just laughed when it didn't work. We couldn't figure out how luminescent paint could get tired, but it's the wrong spectrum. But the fun thing was all three of us said, oh, well, it was worth trying, because now if it's the paint's bad, we can go back and get more paint now that the dots are on the ceiling. But what made me laugh was the paint didn't work. And it was the fact that I first did this for in 1986. That really amazes me. Okay, well, we're going to try a little experiment here. I'm going to share the screen, and I'm going to see if I can make my PowerPoint presentation work. So that's me. There's share screen. Let me get over here. Okay. And now I need to share the screen, which is screen 2. So you're seeing a slide? Excellent. Okay. So today's class is about the 4 reasonings of the forward order. And we're going to demonstrate how holy great compassion is developed. You may recall in Master Dignaga's homage in the opening lines to his compendium, he says, I bow down to the one who perfectly correct, who wishes to benefit all living beings, the teacher, the one who went to bliss, and is our protector. So we're going to use this phrase to go over the okay. So today's class is about holy great compassion, how it's developed. And we're going to be discussing forward order reasoning and reverse order reasoning. And to do this, we're going to discuss Master Dignaga's homage in the opening lines of his compendium. We're going to show how this is true. I bow down to the one who turned perfectly correct, who wishes to benefit all living beings, the teacher, the one who went to bliss, our protector. So forward order shows one thing causes another. And the example we use there is the wheel of life. The 12 links of dependent origination. Ignorance creates, if we go around the circle in the forward order, ignorance creates karma by way of our reaction to things, which leads to birth, which leads to the heaps and then leading to death. At the moment of death, we grasp to something which ripens, and we go ahead and go through the circle of life again. So that's the forward order. The reverse order is how do we, starting with death and go backwards. If I want to stop death, what do you have to do? You have to stop involuntary rebirth. To stop rebirth, what you have to stop is karma ripening at death. So you go back the reverse direction. So we're going to use the forward order for most of class today. I need to get my notes back in order. Oh, where'd it go? Hang on a minute. There we go. Okay. The forward progression towards becoming a Buddha is what we're going to talk about using this homage. So the four reasons, well, let me go ahead and get through this slide. So we're going to talk and we're going to use his turn perfectly correct, wishes to help all beings, is the teacher, the one who's gone to bliss, and the protector. So how do you know that Lord Buddha is a totally correct being? We can use this logical statement. Consider our teacher. He is someone who has turned correct because he is the protector. Why is Lord Buddha a protector? We consider him a protector because he teaches the first Arya truth, which we can confirm from experience. What's the first Arya truth? There is suffering. We all know there's suffering, so that seems kind of obvious. But because he's the one who describes suffering in the terms of karma ripening in our ignorance, then as Buddhists, we take that to believe that he can speak only the truth. Now, if you're going to describe this to another philosophical person with a different philosophy, this would have to be done in a slightly different way. And we'll try that later. The only teaching we can confirm from experience is this first Arya truth. If he teaches the first one, he must be correct. So how do we know he is a protector? Consider our teacher. He is a protector because he has eliminated all undesirable qualities. He's a protector because he went to bliss, which means he got rid of all bad qualities and realized all things. This gives him the ability to protect all beings. A protector has to be able to realize everything about the being he is protecting. So by being a totally enlightened being, he is now omniscient, and he knows exactly what I need to do to take up and what I need to leave off. What proves he went to bliss? Consider our teacher. He has gone to bliss because he teaches emptiness, which he has confirmed with his own perception. because he is totally correct, only speaks what he knows directly with valid perception, and he's seen emptiness. By seeing emptiness, he got rid of all bad qualities and has gone to bliss. So how do we know he is a teacher? He is a teacher because, because he has holy great compassion. Great compassion is the primal cause of Buddhahood. Because of compassion, he teaches emptiness. Because of teaching emptiness, he has eliminated all his bad qualities and gone to bliss. Because of that, he is a protector. So again, the forward order, we're saying he has great compassion. Because of that, he teaches emptiness. Because of teaching emptiness, he has eliminated all bad deeds and qualities, and he's gone to bliss. Because of that, he can protect us. So let me get this next slide. So we're talking about compassion. What's the difference between compassion and love? Anybody? We talked about this. Yes, Layla?
Is compassion being able to feel for another person's pains and suffering?
Right. So what would love be? Okay. There's an important difference
And
between love and compassion. Love is wanting to make someone happy. You just want it. So I use the example when my wife has a migraine headache. I know what makes her happy often is to have ice cream. But when she's got a migraine headache and throwing up, the last thing she wants is a bowl of ice cream. Now, compassion, on the other hand, is taking away suffering. So in order to have the compassion necessary to help her, what can I do to take away your suffering? Well, in her case, we use a beanbag that we heat up in the microwave, and it's a hot compress that she can put on her forehead, which really helps relieve the suffering. Then I can take care of making her happy by offering her ice cream. So it's very important to realize the difference between the two. Because if someone's suffering and you're trying to make them happy, that may just greatly increase their suffering because they can't enjoy it, and they maybe get mad at you for trying to make them happy when they're in great pain. So you need to be aware of the difference between compassion and love, and apply the right one as necessary. So it's something I think it's all too easy to not think very hard about. For instance, love, trying to make someone happy. This is where Tong Lin comes in. You need to think like the other person. What makes my wife happy? Not what makes me happy. What makes me happy is working on my various book projects and other projects on my computer. But that doesn't make her very happy because she uses the computer as little as possible. So what do I have to do to make her happy? I have to spend more time away from my computer, which isn't making me happy, but that's not the point. I'm making her happy. So it's very important to think in the other person's shoes and try and develop the skill to see what makes others happy, and then have that become part of your life. Okay, so now we're talking about compassion. So compassion has an enlightened compassion. Unenlightened compassion is wish others to be separated from suffering. or you want, and even better, you want to help them even if no one helps you. So it's kind of like bodhicitta, the wishing bodhicitta and the bodhicitta in the form of action. You want others to be separated from suffering, and you want to do, then you say to yourself, what do I have to do to help them be free from suffering, even if no one helps me? And the other compassion is holy great compassion. And this is the holy great compassion, is the compassion of an enlightened omniscient being. They know exactly what we need, when we need it, where we need it, how we need it to take away our suffering or to make us happy. Unenlightened compassion is a wonderful thing we need to develop, but we only can get holy great compassion once we achieve enlightenment. So that's the end of my slideshow. So I want to see if there's anything else I want to say about that. No, that's pretty much it. So we're using logical statements to generate this proof in the forward order. This is going to be much more clear when we get to course 13, where we really go into detail about the use of the different forms of logic. Okay, that's pretty much all I have for today. These classes are short. I'm not quite sure why they're so short. The only thing I can come up with is there were times when Geshe Michael had to be out of the country for his work, and I think that was represented by the courses being shorter. Okay. So this is a kind of disjointed, difficult to follow, but do I have questions? Oh, I'm sorry, Layla, go ahead.
I just was wondering what could be an example of holy great compassion versus unenlightened compassion.
Holy great compassion. Well, holy great compassion is great compassion along with actually helping beings get free from suffering. So I think in this case, the unenlightened compassion would be, there's a problem at Diamond Mountain that I know I can solve. Oh, for instance, what were we going to do in the retreat cabins? We couldn't put together septic systems, but we needed to do something to allow us to be legal. Now, the interesting thing was back in the day, we were in rural Cochise County and there were no codes governing construction on our property. But I knew down the road that there was going to be, we were going to become under the building code. So I advocated very strongly to build all of our structures to code, because if we built them not to code, it was going to be expensive when we tried to make a change. When you remodel something in the United States, that brings the whole building under code review. So if we built the cabins not to code, and then 5 years later wanted to add something to them, we'd have to remodel each cabin to code. So it occurred to me, it made more sense to build the code at the beginning. So So I took on making sure that the suffering that Diamond Mountain might have had was averted because we built the code originally instead of having to go through expensive remodeling. So in a sense, I was protecting Diamond Mountain. So the compassion I had was I was protecting Diamond Mountain from future problems with code. And I was not the most popular guy on the planet because this meant people had to spend more money and not necessarily have the design they wanted. So I did it anyway, not that anybody was helping me. And some people were trying not to do it. But I made it very clear that it wasn't a choice. We had to do this. And Geshe Michael and Lama Christie backed me on it. So I'm not claiming I have holy great compassion. What I'm saying is I was thinking of what others needed in order to not suffer the problems of during 3-year retreat. And I took it on myself, even if no one else would help me. I took it upon myself to make sure that that solution was available to everybody. So does that help any?
I think that helped me understand between the two different unenlightened compassion. Do you have an example of a holy great compassion? You have to have achieved enlightenment for that, right?
Right. Well, the holy great compassion is because you're enlightened, you're omniscient. And because you're omniscient, you know exactly what in my case, what I need to give up or what I need to take up in order to become an enlightened being. So that's the only person that can have that is someone who's omniscient. So by achieving omniscience, you then have the ability, you're not developing holy great compassion, you have holy great compassion. Whereas as an unenlightened being, you can do great compassionate things, but it's not the ultimate compassion, because I don't know what you need to do in order to reach your enlightenment specifically. I mean, I know teaching the Dharma is the important thing, but what is it in your life that's holding you back? I don't know that because I'm not omniscient. Does that make sense? No.
Kind of. I mean, it's hard to know what you don't know.
Well, that's true.
But it does intellectually make sense. Thank you.
So we're next class, we're going to talk about the proof of past and future lives. Because back in Dharmakirti's time, there was a school, a Shavaka school, that said there's no such thing as past or future lives. So you can't develop compassion over many lives. Therefore, the omniscient being called Buddha can't exist. So the Master Dharmakirti is going to show them the past and future lives in order to show them that bodhicitta can be developed. So we'll talk about that next class. The whole point of this forward and reverse introduction to forward and reverse reasoning is there more than one logical method to prove something. And sometimes you have to go in the reverse, sometimes you go forward. For instance, to teach the source of all my good is usually taught in the reverse mode. I thought that would be difficult to translate into so many languages, so I taught it in the forward mode. There's nothing wrong with teaching it in the forward or reverse mode. It's just sometimes one is more, once you learn the forward mode of the source of all my good, then it's a very beneficial thing to try and go backwards through the rooms. And then you see what causes, you go back to the next room back is what caused the room you're in. So for instance, the crystal room, the tantric room, you can't get into the tantric room until you've gone through the bodhisattva room. So that means you know that in order to get your tantric vows, you need to have the bodhisattva vows. Whereas if you're going in the forward order, you go to the bodhisattva vow room, you could stop there and you'd be perfectly fine. But if you know the forward order, you know the next step to be even more powerful is to go into the tantra room. No more questions? I'm looking forward to getting on to a subject that I'm much better teaching on. And I think course 11 qualifies for that. But we're through course 6, class 6 now. We're getting there. Okay. How are we doing on time? Well, an hour. Okay, so remember, you need to find 10 things you're grateful for. And if you can't find 10, that's fine. You're not going to get in trouble or anything. I like giving lists. Speaking of lists, the book of lists is coming along very nicely. I'm very pleased with it. I think hopefully by the end of this month, I may have the Spanish version finished by the end of this month. So we'll have the Russian, English, and Spanish version completed. It's looking very nice, and I want to thank Layla in front of all of you for all her hard work and help and patience and helping me set it up. So, okay, let's dedicate. What dedication do I want to use today? O Gurus, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, O Tara, Mother of us all, please listen to what I now say from the depths of my heart. Watch over Tenzin Gyatso, protector of the land of snow. He who is of one taste with Avalokiteshvara, guide him and protect him, that he may live long to bring liberation to his people and the Dharma to all sentient beings. May all his goals and wishes be achieved. May the source of benefit and goodness, the Dharma, spread and expand. May the beings upholding the Dharma have excellent health. May the source of happiness and well-being for all embodied beings, the Dharma taught by the Buddhas, always increase. And I've just decided I'm going to come up with 10 things I'm grateful for. So we'll check that out next class. Okay, everybody be safe. Have a good weekend. And Layla, if you'll stay on and Svetlana, we're going to talk briefly about the website. Okay, everybody. Hope your foot feels better, Katya.
Thank you.
Okay. Layla.